Well, I don't want to wait in the queue, and I don't want to pay an entrance fee either. Good morning and welcome to my final day here in Lisbon. I discovered yesterday that the hotel I've been staying at was used by spies during the Second World War. Apparently a man called Garbo, his real name Juan Pujol, stayed there, and he was one of the Allied spies responsible for the deception on the build-up to D-Day during the Second World War. He stayed in that hotel. Absolutely fantastic. And in this video I'm going to take a walk around the city of Lisbon, find some of the landmarks, the popular tourist attractions, and tell a little of the history of this fantastic city, including tales of massacre and of fire, of executions and assassinations. And I'll throw in an earthquake and a tsunami as well. All before the end of the video as I walk through the city down to the Tejo River. And it's a beautiful sunny day today, unlike yesterday where it just chucked it down with rain. So I'm really looking forward to today, and I've got a few hours left here in Lisbon before heading back to the airport to catch my flight back to Stansted. But I'm starting here by the monument dos Restauradores, a very fine monument behind me, which was inaugurated on the 28th of April 1886, commemorating the end of the Iberian Union on the 1st of December 1640. And it's an absolutely fantastic monument. The Iberian Union refers to the dynastic union of the kingdoms of Castile and Aragon and the Kingdom of Portugal that existed between 1580 and 1640, and brought the entire Iberian Peninsula, as well as Portuguese overseas territories, under the direct rule of the Habsburg monarchs of Spain. Now they were the kings Philip II, Philip III and Philip IV. And the Iberian Peninsula, well, that's the area we know today as Spain and Portugal. And the monument here, well, it's 30 meters tall and was designed by Antonio Thomas de Fonseca. And it's also where the new Portuguese flag was first shown to the nation, back on the 1st of December 1910. And if you look up the column, there's lots of dates significant to the history of Portugal, and it really is a fine monument. And what a beautiful square this is as well, absolutely beautiful. And just behind me is the Eden Teatro, absolutely beautiful Art Deco building, which is now converted into a hotel. It's absolutely beautiful looking at the outside. But I'm going to walk down a little further now to another square and tell you the story of a massacre.
La la ya, la ya, la ya, la la la. La ya, la ya, la ya, la ya. La la ya, la ya, la ya, la la la. La ya, la ya.
This is the Largo São Domingo, and in the centre stands the São Domingo Church, or the Church of St. Dominic. And I'll talk more about that in a few minutes. But what I want to show you is the memorial that's in the centre of the square. It's quite an interesting memorial because it commemorates the event that happened here back on the 19th of April 1506, where about 2,000 people were massacred here. And the inscription on the top, in memory of the thousands of Jews, victims of intolerance and religious fanaticism, murdered in the massacre that began on the 19th of April 1506 in this square. It's nice that events in history are remembered, and so many towns and cities around the world where there are monuments to religious persecution. It's not only the events of 1506 which are remembered in this square, because the Church of San Domingo also has a story to tell. Now, the church can trace its origins and foundations back to the year 1241, but it's the events of the 13th of August 1959 that the people of Lisbon remember. And that's the Great Fire that engulfed the building and destroyed it, destroying parish records, artifacts and monuments and statues inside as well. So much history was lost to the flames. It took over 100 firefighters with fire engines to put the fire out, and there's still damage on the inside of the church from that event. So let's go inside and take a look. What a fantastic church it was inside. Did enjoy looking around, and they've rebuilt it superbly. They could quite easily have left it as a ruin or a tourist attraction here in the city centre, but they've rebuilt it, and you can still see the damage on the inside of the pillars from the fire, and on the back balcony as well. Still charred wooden remains up there. So they've tried to use as much of the original church as possible within the rebuilding. Absolutely beautiful. But now I want to head to one of the tourist attractions here in the city centre, the Carmo lift. We'll see what else we can discover on the way. Just walked into another little square here. And this one's just as delightful as the others I've discovered here in Lisbon so far. And there's a fantastic statue of a man on a horse. And it's John of Aviz, John I, a former king of Portugal. He, of course, married Philippa of Lancaster back in 1385. And it was John who named the castle Castel São Jorge. So there we go, we finally met John of Aviz. Oh, what a beautiful statue it is as well, absolutely fantastic. Looking up there, looks quite magnificent on his horse. And it was presented in 1971, this sculpture. And the sculptor was actually Leopoldo da Almeida. Absolutely beautiful. I do love seeing, statues like that. They are absolutely fantastic to look at. Loads of tuk-tuks behind me as well. Everybody there plying their trade, hoping to get some business for the day. I did inquire actually, but maybe another day I'll do that. But lovely to see that statue there of John of Aviz. Now let's head on down to the Commercio lift and one of the viewpoints here in the city. Right-hand side here is the Carmo lift. And this connects the lower region where I am at the moment to Carmo Square, which is higher up on the hill. And as usual, there's a huge queue of people here waiting to board the lifts. And I don't want to wait in the queue, and I don't want to pay an entrance fee either. So I'm going to go up the back way, because there is a back way up to the viewing platform. And if you know where you're going, and I'm going to show you, you can avoid queuing and avoid paying the €5, I think it's €5.50 fee to go up and down in the lift. So I've climbed up the top of the stairs to Rue do Como, and somewhere up here is an entrance behind these buildings. I'm hoping if I go up these steps and round to the right, there'll be a passageway which leads further up the hill and to the back area of that lift. And I dare say I'll meet people who were queuing coming up. So let's just walk along here and up this little ramp. Didn't take long at all, I didn't have to pay, and I didn't have to queue. That's the way to do it. So let's walk down to the end and take a look at the views over the city. Well, here I am at the top of this structure, 45 meters above the ground. It's 147 feet. And if I look down, I can see the pavement and everybody queuing. And I didn't. I came up the back way, which was more fun. And I can see behind me the castle where I was the other day, looking absolutely brilliant in the summer sunshine. And turn the camera around. Behind me is the Tejo River. And the huge arch there, and beyond it, the commercial square, which is where I'm heading to next. And just lovely up here, looking at the views on a sunny day. And I'm so grateful that at least one of my days here has been sunny, because yesterday was an absolute washout. But now let's head back down to ground level and see what else we can discover here in Lisbon on the way down to the commercial square. I've walked down to the Praca do Municipio. I was here yesterday and it was raining. So I went into the museum behind me, which is in the former Church of St. Julian. It's the Money Museum, owned by the Bank of Portugal, and it tells the story of money. How it's printed, how it's made, how it came about, and history of commerce, banking and finance. Absolutely fantastic in there, especially seeing the big vaults where the gold bullion was stored. Those doors were huge. But for me, the highlight was looking into the crypt area, and they've got preserved a section of the old wall from the time of King Denis, I should say. Not a saint, he's a king. King Denis, which was built around 1294, and they've recently discovered a section of wall there, and to see that really well preserved is absolutely incredible. Well worth going in. It's a free museum, but they do have airport style security to get in, which I seem to have passed. So I got in and looked at the display of money and coins and banknotes and other things which they have on display. Absolutely brilliant in there. But let's walk a little further on, down to the commercial square, and to another museum which I want to visit, which is the Lisbon Story. So let's go and find that museum. made my way back down to the bottom of the Rua Augusta and to this fantastic archway. And it's open. You can climb up it. For €3 you can climb up the arch and take a look at the views overlooking the Tejo River. So let's go and do it. Let's climb this arch. Steps going up after coming out to the lift. Looks like just a few, nearly at the top. It's only €3 to get up here. Really rather reasonable. It's quite cavernous up here, it's lovely. It's the first floor, viewing galleries a bit further up. Following the earthquake in 1755, the new archway here was conceived, I should say, and actually built in 1873. The architect was Verissimo Jose da Costa. Nice little information boards there about how it all came about. Absolutely lovely. And the mechanism for the clock behind me. Really rather fun to see that. But now let's head on upstairs and go to the viewing gallery on the top. Staircase going up. Get these in churches a lot. I'm quite used to climbing them. This one's got a nice little safety rail and it's very easy going, unlike some church towers that I've climbed in recent months. There we go, right at the top. This is really rather nice up here, especially as the sun's shining. Well, that was quite easy to get up here, and it's absolutely beautiful, especially as the sun's shining. And I look down behind me, wow, you can see the view overlooking the city and towards the Carmo lift, where I was just a little while ago. See a nice little view from that here as well, and also views overlooking the castle and the cathedral. Just walk up here. This is lovely, it really is. There we go, let's turn the camera around. I can show you the cathedral where I was the other day, and also the castle in the background. Absolutely wonderful. And such a warm sunny day today. It's worth suffering a few rainy days just for one day of sunshine. And here we are, this is the main view overlooking the Tejo River. And the statue of King Jose I, standing proud on his horse, right in the middle of the square. And what a fantastic view it is. See the water glistening in the sun. It really is just beautiful up here. And on a sunny day like today, yeah, I'll take a few rainy days just to have one lovely sunny day. And what a great place to be. But down there in the square is the Lisbon Story Museum. So let's go downstairs and walk across the square and try and find that. But I'll leave you with some pictures overlooking the city of Lisbon and the fine views from this archway. I did enjoy climbing up that arch. The views from the top were just magnificent, and the view of the arch from the square here is equally as impressive. with the ornate carvings on the front and the statues around the sides, and there's huge ones on the top. Really is absolutely just beautiful looking up at it. Perhaps I should try and find a few more arches and climb those on my travels. But just ahead of me is the Lisbon Story Museum. So let's go in there and see what we can find on the history of Lisbon. Wow, the Lisbon Story Museum was absolutely brilliant. As you go in, you're given an audio guide, and as you walk around all the displays in there, an audio commentary will tell you about the history relating to the objects you're looking at. €6.50, really well spent. Spent a lovely hour just walking around there, listening to the commentary and immersing myself in the history of Lisbon. It is absolutely fascinating. And the history of Lisbon, well, it revolves around this square somewhat, because there used to be a royal palace here. That is, until the earthquake of the 1st of November 1755. And the earthquake destroyed most of the old town and a lot of the residents as well. And the earthquake was followed by a tsunami, and that killed many more residents. But they rebuilt Lisbon, and now where the palace used to be, Ribeiro Palace, is now this fine square, and a statue of King Jose I up on his horse, and the horse walking through, wasn't the snakes on the road. Absolutely fantastic. But there is so much of Portugal's history that revolves around this square. Back in the 16th century, during the Inquisition, people were burnt at the stake here. And on the 1st of February 1908, King Carlos I was assassinated. Revolution followed in 1974, and on the 25th of April, there was a coup to overthrow the government. And that all centered around this square. Just so much history, more history that I can go into in a small video like this. It really is incredible what has happened here over the years. But let's head on a little further, because the Tejo River is just ahead, and let's take a little walk down until we can discover as I walk down to the Tejo River. Down to the Tejo River, and it's absolutely beautiful down here, and what a fantastic place to end my video and my series here from Lisbon. I've had a fantastic time, and the weather today has given me a taste of what to expect if I was to come here in the summertime. It really is absolutely beautiful. But this is where I end this video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and follow my journey, because there'll be another adventure very shortly from somewhere else. Thanks for watching.